Hello everyone and welcome to our Week 3 Team Builder against the Texas Rangers coached by Randy HLD. Now we are going to be taking on his absolutely terrifying squad of Celesteela, Mega Lopunny, Latios, what a core, Shaman, Rotom Heat, Mamoswine, Rabombi, Jellicent, Uxie, Barbaracle, and Skuntank. On our side, let's see what we're going to bring to face him. The first thing that you see on your screen is a mainstay of the New York Empoleon. It has not been getting the kills this season, but it has been putting in the finest of work, except when it can't get a Sludge Bomb poison. Vegisaurus, the Venusaur, Mega Venusaur, excuse me, is going to be using Knockoff, Sludge Bomb, Synthesis, and Sleep Powder this week. 244 HP. 196 defense with a relaxed nature. Yes, relaxed nature. Get ready for some fun shenanigans this week. This thing is going to be it's going to be using Sleep Powder, hopefully not missing Sleep Powder. In my mock battles, it has been pretty much 75% accurate, so hopefully we do land it when we need to. This thing comes in the clutch. Knockoff put in a lot more utility work than Giga Drain or anything like that did this week, with his only thing that would be weak to Giga Drain being Mamoswine. Well, I mean Jellicent as well, but Jellicent's also weak to Knockoff. But Mamoswine being the one thing that Giga Drain might have been useful for, but Knockoff just puts in so much utility, and Venusaur doesn't love staring down a Mamoswine either way. Now this thing does a lot of work as long as its Sleep Powders land. It can pretty much be my lead and lead against Uxie, can take any one hit. Latios take any one hit, unless it's a choice specs Latios. I do have to watch out for that. Land that Sleep Powder, click on the Knockoff, get rid of the item, and go from there. Now, this thing does put in a lot of work with Synthesis as well. It outspeeds a good amount of his team, and it underspeeds a good amount of his team. Now, that's really important for this week, and I will get there when I get there. But next up, we have Tornadus Eye holding the Phytinium Z. It's going to be Prankster this week, not Defiant. Facade, Knockoff, Defog, Superpower. I went back and forth on what move to put in that first slot. Bulk Up was there for a little while, but I never ended up clicking it during a mock battle. And I figured, you know what, you never know when someone's just going to rock out a Toxic or a Will-O-Wisp or something. Facade just allows me to hit things a little bit harder if I have to. So Facade, Knockoff, Defog, Superpower, Phytinium Z, Superpower, really dents everything on his team. Even Celesteela doesn't love staring at that. So we are going to be able to click that. It's not going to probably OHKO things. We need to run max speed with the plus speed nature and Jolly just because we had to outspeed the Latios if he's not Scarfed. Knockoff obviously doing a ton of damage to Latios. And if I do get status, then Facade's going to be doing a lot as well. Now, I think this thing puts in a lot of work. Defog, obviously very important. As you can see, the latter half of my team, very, very weak to rocks. And I do want to make sure that this thing is at least healthy enough to switch in and take a Stealth Rock to defog away with Prankster if I have to. It gets rid of the sticky webs if I want to from Rabombi. So I do have to watch out for some of that stuff, but I think Defog's going to be useful this week. I really hope this thing can put in the work it wants to put in, but even if it can't knock off as utility from a base 111 speed Pokemon, which it outspeeds everything except for his Rabombi and Mega Lopunny, that's fine by me. Now, this thing really doesn't check Rabombi at all, but he doesn't know that, and if I run any sort of flying type move, it does. So he can't really just switch that thing in safely unless I've shown him my entire set. Next up, for the first time this week, we are going to be bringing Choice Scarf Ditto. I think Ditto can put in a ton of work this week. If you look at the IVs, it is running HP Rock this week, so if he does switch in the Rotom Heat, which might have Hidden Power, the Rabombi, which might have Hidden Power, I do get access to Hidden Power Rock on this thing, and I'm running max HP, and then the rest of them don't matter. But notably, I am going to be able to, and I realized how disgustingly broken this was in my mock battles, get a Scarfed Mega Lopunny on the field. That is disgustingly broken. It obviously outspeeds his own Mega Lopunny, but it outspeeds everything on his team, even any of his Scarfers. And Scarfed High Jump Kick from a Mega Lopunny, that's just gonna destroy something. It's a 2-hit KO on Celesteela, so that's not a safe switch in. It's a 2-hit KO on Latios, so that's not a safe switch in. It doesn't 2-hit KO Uxie from full health, so I do have to watch out for that. But if I do decide to click return on a prediction, or if his Lopunny's a little bit weakened, this thing puts in so much work. This is a safe switch in on some sort of, I don't know exactly what, safe switch in opportunity onto a Mega Lopunny once he's Mega Evolved. And this thing can shred his team. Obviously, it outspeeds his Mega Lopunny, and I can high jump kick that. And I do get to see his set, so sometimes during the mock battles, I was seeing things like Z, Fly, Celesteela, so being able to see that in advance will allow me to predict better and get that information and know what he's going to do. Sometimes people run Scarf, Rotom Heat, Scarf Mamoswine, so I do get access to that information, see kind of what moves they're running. This Ditto puts in so much pressure, though. I mean, even if I take Rotom Heat and then go for a Volt Switch, if I take Shaman and am immune to his own Leech Seed, I can switch into Rabombi and put up my own Sticky Webs. So this thing actually puts in a ton of work this week. I think this thing has a chance to really get a few kills, especially if it can become a Mega Lopunny or a Latios that's not Scarfed. His Latios isn't Scarfed, and mine becomes Scarfed. So I think the Ditto puts it pressures him not to set up. I did see a lot of like Autotomize Celesteela, or something like a Quiver Dance or Bombi. So it pressures him not to set up, and Shell Smash Barbaracle is definitely something that I have to watch out for. So that is noteworthy. I think this thing could put in a ton of work this week. Now, next up, we are also running a Choice Scarfed Excadrill. So double Scarfers this week. It's going to be Earthquake, Iron Head, Rapid Spin, Stealth Rock, Excadrill. I do like my rocks up against his team. I love the pressure they put on him to not keep switching out, which he can do. It's pretty free for him to do that if I don't get my own rocks up. But this Excadrill needs to survive. Once the Celesteela goes down, the Mold Breaker Earthquake puts in so much work against his team. He really has no great switch-ins to it, with the exception of maybe a super defensive Uxie, and that's something that I can just switch out on. So, this Excadrill puts on so much pressure against his team that I think that it's got to stay healthy, but I do love the idea of having both Rapid Spin and Stealth Rock on this thing in case that's a utility move that I do get the chance to click, and I'll often do during a battle. Now, I have both Defog and Rapid Spin because, as you guys know, the two last Pokemon on my team are weak to Stealth Rocks, and both of them are vital to my strategy this week. So having both of those moves and having them Scarfed and base 111 speed with Prankster, I think those will get off if I have to get them off. I have to figure out if his Mamoswine or his Uxie is his rocker, but once I do, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be set to get that Rapid Spin or the Defog off and come in with those last two Pokemon when they need to do it. So the last two Pokemon, one is Victini. This Victini is holding a Shuka Berry, so it's going to be immune to those ground type attacks, and not immune, but it's going to take one really, really well. Trick Room, Will-O-Wisp, V-Create, and U-Turn. This is a utility, bulky Victini with 252 HP, 108 defense with a plus defense nature, and 148 special defense. Fun fact about this Victini, this has become my favorite damage calc of all time. Yes, this Victini can take a +6 max attack adamant nature Celesteela Earthquake from full HP. What in the world is going on with that calc? Anyway, doesn't really matter. Hopefully doesn't have to. If he gets a +6 with the Celesteela, we've got bigger problems. But anyway, Trick Room, obviously huge for that Venusaur and the Vikavolt and the next Pokemon that you'll look at. Double Scarf with Trick Room. We are going all in with the speed control this week. Will-O-Wisp allows it to handle the Celesteela, handle the Mega Lopunny, both things that it is okay as a safe switch into. It doesn't love hard switching into them, but it can safely switch into them. Handles the Mamoswine if he thinks he can Earthquake me and take me out, which he can't. Handles a physical variant of Uxie or Barbaracle. And so Will-O-Wisp, an amazing tech move for this thing this week. V-Create, obviously great this week, both because it's so strong, and because it lowers my speed for my own Trick Room. So it actually matches up really, really well with that Trick Room. And U-Turn just there for utility, hit the Latios a little bit harder, maybe the Shaman, if I wanted to, if I was switching out or something. But honestly, I think the Trick Room, Will-O-Wisp, V-Create combination is going to put in so much work this week, and almost nothing on his team that isn't named Rotom Heat really wants to switch into this thing. And Rotom Heat is handled by so much of the rest of my team that I'm totally fine with it. Ditto switched into Rotom Heat pretty much every time without any sort of worry. Excadrill, if it's a safe switch in, outspeeds a Scarf Rotom Heat and kills it with an Earthquake. So, unless he's running like Shuka Berry with a Reflect Up Rotom Heat, Excadrill can really handle it from full HP. But I do have to watch out for something like that. And lastly, we do have Beca, the Vikavolt Assault Vest holding Vikavolt. The EV spread on this is wild, but 171 HP total, so 148 EVs, 68 defense, max special attack, modest nature, with 36 special defense and 4 speed. I underspeed every single thing on his team. So there's really no reason for me to be running the 4 speed, but I didn't have anywhere else to put them. So I put them there. That's actually honestly the only reason. I could have run a minus speed nature or something, but there really wasn't a need to do that because nothing on his team underspeeds me. His lowest is base 60. So even if he runs like a minus speed nature with 0 IVs on Jellicent, Jellicent doesn't scare me anyway. He's still going to probably get outsped under Trick Room anyway. So we are going to be running that Assault Vest to be able to take hits from things like the Latios, like the Shaman, things that this thing can check really well if it can get a hit off, and it definitely can. Latios with a Life Orb is only doing about 40 to 50%. Shaman's not doing very much with a Seed Flare at all. And we can get that Charge Beam up, get that +1, go from there. This thing literally handles everything on his team except for Rotom Heat. So I do need to watch out for Rotom Heat, and I can't start setting up with this thing until Rotom Heat's gone. But if I can get a Trick Room up and I can get this thing in there, I can very easily just either predict or not, go for a big Bug Buzz or a big Charge Beam, Volt Switch, Energy Ball, whatever the situation calls for. This thing can handle almost everything on his team single-handedly. Obviously, Celesteela from full is going to take maybe a Charge Beam plus a Volt Switch or 2 Charge Beams, but that's fine. It really can't do anything to me. Z-Fly doesn't kill this thing, which is wild, unless he's set up a couple of like Adamant Nature, Beast Boosts, whatever. So from full HP, if there's no Stealth Rocks up, this thing can take a Z-Fly. I personally think this Vikavolt puts in so much work and puts on so much pressure against his team that there's really not much he wants to do. And if he does decide to set up the Sticky Webs, he's giving me more Trick Room opportunity, and I can still defog it away with my Tornadus with Prankster. So I think we've done everything we possibly can to prep for this week. I'm really looking for a win in the GBA D-League at some point, hopefully this week. I'm running out of time if I want to start making the playoff run, and I need to do it now. So thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow with that battle against Randy and the Texas Rangers. I encourage you guys to go check out his channel if you ever want to. It's always in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow with the battle. Take care, everybody.